In this section, we will be completing a medication error report based on the information supplied for the off-site custody of medication form from the last lesson. I will go over the form and the rules as we work through the report. I would like you to be on the lookout for situations when a medication error report is indicated, how to complete the report, the deadlines for submitting the report, where to submit the report, and the follow-up report, what needs to be sent and when. There are several situations when a med error report needs to be completed. The type of medication errors are listed in the area that's highlighted in yellow. Most errors may be avoided by utilizing the 5 rights plus 2 that we have previously discussed. Remember, medication errors must be reported to the facility supervisor, and the medication error report form must be submitted to the regional office within 24 hours of the discovery of the error. We will be completing the form systematically using the information from the off-site custody form. The first part, highlighted in yellow, looks at who is involved and gathers some basic information. Use the following information to complete your form. 1. Client Jesse James. 2. Date of birth 7/9/1995. 3. Date 7/17/19. Time 10 p.m. 4. Provider Best Provider Incorporated is a group home. 5. 123 Rainbow Drive, Pensacola, Florida 32505. 6. I'm a map, title map. 7. I'm a map, title map, validated yes. 8. Just a super, title supervisor, validated no. Fill in the information above on the medication error report in your worksheet. The numbers correspond to the numbers on the slide. When you are finished, go to the next slide and check your answers. Correct any errors. How did you do? Make any corrections or additions. Now, let's look at the next section. Here we list the date of the error. This is when the error occurred. The report date is within 24 hours of the discovery of the error. 1. The error occurred on July 15th. Cindy stated she forgot to give Jessie her second dose of Ativan on July 15th. 2. Name of the medication, Ativan. Dose 0.5 milligrams. Time given 7 p.m. Doses involved 1. 3. Yes, it is a controlled substance. 4. Type of error and reason if applicable. Medication not given, failed to give. Fill in the information above on the medication error report in your worksheet. The numbers correspond to the numbers on the slide. When you are finished, go to the next slide and check your answers. Correct errors, if any. Take a few moments to double check your answers and make any necessary corrections. When you finish, please click to go to the next slide. In this section, you will record what happened. Document objectively only the facts: who, what, when, why, and how. If the error resulted in a doctor or ER visit or hospitalization, check the box. Then describe in the area if medical care is required. 1. When writing your description, be sure to include 1. That you discovered the amount received was different than the amount you expected to be returned. 2. Cindy stated she forgot to give the 7 p.m. dose on the 15th of July. 3. That you notified your supervisor and she will notify the doctor and the waiver support coordinator. 4. There was no medical care given because Jessie appears to have no adverse reaction to the missing dose. When you finish your narrative, complete the section for notifications. Part 2. 1. Doctor is Dr. Jones. 2. Support coordinator is one of support. When you have completed your worksheet, click to go to the next slide and compare your responses to mine. They will probably be different, but should be very similar if you documented objectively and included all of the 4 facts listed above. How did you do? The rest of the form is filled out by the supervisory personnel, the APD provider, and the staff at APD. Generally, the medical case manager will review and make recommendations. I am going to just take a few minutes to discuss these areas, but we won't be completing them. When you have finished reviewing the example documentation, click to move on to the next slide. This section is completed by your supervisor. The supervisor will analyze the situation and determine the cause. Corrective action or plans are developed to prevent this occurrence from happening in the future. The corrective action that is taken or plans are described in this section also. In our example, it was an error by the family. Dependent on whether this type of situation is isolated or an ongoing problem would determine what corrective action is needed. If you made the error and receive a task or tasks to complete as part of a corrective action, it is important that you complete the plan of remediation and have it submitted by the deadline. Failure to complete the corrective action may result in you losing your MAP status. The last page of the medication error form is completed by APD. Usually, it is the MCM that will complete the form and make recommendations for corrective action if applicable. Copies of completed forms are forwarded to an APD office for analysis and reporting at both the state and federal level. APD recommended follow-up and provider recommended follow-up must be completed and submitted by the deadline. If you or your supervisor have any questions concerning the deadline or what is required for the follow-up, be sure to contact the MCM that is working with you and clarify. Again, I can't stress enough how important it is that you complete any corrective actions or plans of remediation and submit the documentation of completion by the assigned deadline.